Today, we're touring a property in Carmichael, California that could be a really interesting house hack because it is actually 2 units on one lot. It's a duplex style property. And if you've been a buyer and you're trying to get into the market, this could be a great opportunity for you because this way you could live in one unit and rent out the other unit and allow that helper unit to offset the mortgage payment. And if you're new here, I'm Leslie Duvernay, California-based realtor, investor, and landlord coach, and I actually help homeowners turn their houses into rentals and build wealth through real estate by house hacking. So if you're interested in house hacking, or if you have rental property or plan to be a landlord at some point in time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, so let's check this property out. The reason I'm showing you this one is for a couple of reasons. Number one, both units are vacant. And in California, inheriting tenants can sometimes be a total headache. So having a property delivered vacant is a big advantage. Number two, the price point is ideal for a first-time buyer or a house hacker. You could potentially get into a property like this with as little as 3% down, live in one unit, and use the rent from the second unit to help offset your mortgage. So as I walk you through the property, I'm not necessarily going to point out the obvious that you can already see. Instead, I'm going to give you more of a landlord, house hacker perspective so you can start looking at properties a little bit differently if your goal is to turn this into a rental in the future. Now, the details on this property, this is a duplex and it's located at 6008 Rye Way. And that's for unit 1. And then 6010 Rye Way is unit 2 in Carmichael, California. This property is listed at $600,000 and each unit is about 832 square feet with 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom per side. This setup is ideal for a house hacker because you can live in one unit and rent the other one out and then eventually convert the entire property into a full rental. This property is located in Carmichael, California, and it's just under a mile and walkable to shopping, restaurants, and even a drive-through Starbucks, which is a must-have for a lot of my commuters. You also have quick access to the major commuter routes like Highway 50 and 80, making it easy to get into Sacramento and the surrounding areas. And major employers nearby include UC Davis Medical, Kaiser, and of course everything in downtown Sacramento, which helps support strong and consistent rental demand in this area. A few of the features that actually make this property so perfect for house hacking is because both of the sides are identical in terms of size, bedroom, bathroom. They're each individually metered. They each have their own HVAC. They each have their own yards and their own garages. So if you were, let's say, a family, young family, and you wanted to live in one of these units and still have a yard for your kids, but then have the second helper unit on the other side, this is a perfect property for you. The other thing that I really like is the property is upgraded. It's not completely full gut rehab, but you can tell it's in move-in ready condition. So this kind of a property, if it's your first house hack, you wouldn't be biting off more than you could chew. There's no issues here when it comes to financing. Sometimes if you buy property like this and it's a major fixer, you're going to run into financing difficulties. This property is more or less turnkey. You can buy it, move right in, and put a tenant in the other unit. There are a few little minor fixes to do here, like some patching of holes and another cleaning before somebody moves in. But overall, this one is ready to go for you. Now, if you're thinking about buying a house or have some interest in how to house hack, grab my free 4321 training at the link below. Or if you're just getting started and you're in the California market, grab my California Buyer's Guide. I'll drop that link below in the description box. Both will walk you through exactly how this process works. All right, so let's check out the second unit now. The exterior of both of these properties is in exceptional condition. There's not anything you need to do out here. And the neighborhood in general itself is a large community of duplexes. This was pretty common in the area. There's a lot of communities like this in the Sacramento area and even over into Placer County and El Dorado County, where it's a big community of duplexes. The property itself was built in the 60s and the lot size is 0.14 of an acre. Everything's all single story. The only upgrade or change I would really do to this property is put in can lighting in the living room and bedrooms. Back in the day when they built these units, they did a switch that operated an outlet for a lamp. But nowadays, we kind of need to have lighting in the living room and bedroom spaces, and it'll brighten up the property when you're showing it and photographing it for when you're going to lease it again in the future. And both units have the laundry in the garage. They each have their own water heater. This property is an awesome one to house hack. All right, so now let's give this property a house hack score. On this channel, I am going to start rating properties from 1 to 5 based on how strong they are as a house hack. And the score is based on 5 things: rentability, rental income potential, price versus the rent ratio, forced appreciation opportunities, and long-term appreciation in the area. So let's break down the score for this property. Now, this is the type of property where you're not just buying a home, you're setting up your next rental before you even move out. So, rentability, I give this property a 5 out of 5. This is a true duplex in an area with a strong renter population. So, it should be really easy to rent this property out if you're presenting it well. The rental income gets about a 4 out of 5. While you're house hacking, you'd bring in approximately $2,200 a month from the other unit. But once you move out, this property could generate anywhere from around $4,400 to $4,500 per month total. Now, the price to rent ratio, I give a 4 out of 5, which is actually strong for California at this price point of $600,000. And when it comes to forced appreciation, this is a 3. There's some room to improve the property and increase the rents over time, but overall, there's no major expansion or major renovation or types of forced appreciation moves for this property. The appreciation score on this is a 4 out of 5. In Carmichael, home values have increased about 147% over the last 10 years. And even recently, we're seeing around 3.5% year over year growth. So that's making this a stable long-term market. Overall, this property comes in at a house hack score of 4 out of 5. So drop down in the comments what you think about this property. Would this be something you'd be interested in house hacking? Have you bought a property like this before? How did it go? I would just love to see the feedback. And if you're watching from outside of California and you're in a completely different price point, then this is what you get for $600,000 for a duplex in the Carmichael area. And the property is turnkey. You could move right into this property and rent the unit out right away on the other side. So drop in the comments what you think, the feedback. If you're thinking about buying a home and possibly house hacking or turning it into a rental later, I have 2 free resources linked below. The first is my 4321 House Hacker training, which walks you through how people are building a rental portfolio and house hacking. And the second is my California Home Buyer Guide. So if you're in the California area, this guide explains the entire buying process step by step. Both links are in the description below. And as always, happy landlording.